Welcome to Technically Speaking, the show for the technically challenged. My name is Stephanie, and today we're going to be talking about cloud computing. You've probably heard the term cloud computing somewhere. It's been all the buzz lately. But what exactly is cloud computing? Well, when I mention that term to other people, the first thing they ask is something silly like, is that like using a laptop while you're on an airplane? Before we talk about what cloud computing is, though, since it's so tied in with the internet, let's talk about the internet and what exactly happens when you go on the internet. Most of your experience with the internet is when you type something into your computer and you get to view websites. Whether it's news or shopping or email, you just type in a certain address on your computer and it sends you there. Let's say, for example, I was shopping and I typed in www.amazon.com. Instantly, I can see all of the products and the pictures from Amazon. How does it happen? Well, what really happens is that Amazon.com, what you're seeing are all of the files that are on another computer, a remote computer, meaning not a computer here. Now, I'll be honest, the computer that holds the Amazon.com files is much larger than this little one. The Amazon.com files couldn't even fit in this studio. And they're housed someplace in California. So we type in Amazon.com and instantly we're connected with a computer in California. That's why they call it the internet. It's a network between computers. Computers that hold websites like Amazon are called servers. They're supercomputers, much larger than what we have here, that could fill a room or even many, many rooms. And the moment you hit enter, when you're entering in a web address, it takes less than 1 second for the computer to find and display that website you're looking at on the remote server. If instead of typing in Amazon.com, you typed in Facebook.com, we're instantly connected with Facebook. The Facebook servers are actually located in Seattle. So again, in less than a second, what we type in, zoom, we're sent to a remote computer. So that's what happens when you're on the internet. You're actually getting shifted, and what you're seeing on your screen doesn't exist in the room you're in. You're viewing files that happen on another computer. Now, if you've ever been on Facebook or many of these other sites, there are some other terms that you've seen before. The terms are upload and download. These are some icons for the upload term. You might see an arrow going up, or maybe a little picture of a file folder with an arrow. If you're on Facebook and you would like to add a picture to your profile, they ask you to please upload the picture. What that means is that your picture is going to come from your computer and go right onto the Facebook computer. So you're going to find the picture on your computer and press the button, and your picture will instantly go to the Facebook computer. The opposite of upload is to download. If you've ever seen one of these little icons, it looks like an arrow is going into your computer. So sometimes you may see something, it says, download directions to our restaurant, or download an application form, or even download music if you're purchasing music. When one downloads something, the file comes from the remote server or computer, and it comes to your computer. Now, even though these common terms are upload and download, the files are not actually going up or down. In our case, the files are going from New York to, say, Seattle. It's not up, but so often we think in terms of it being up. So people think of the internet as being in the clouds. So here's our internet up in the clouds. But we here, technically speaking, know the internet is actually files stored on remote computers that could be located all over the country and even all over the world. So that's how we got to the term internet and how the term cloud to represent the internet came into vogue. Now, cloud computing is when we use some sort of a function on the internet, that we don't just put files in or files out, or even just look at pictures that are on the internet, but we actually do something with those files. Now, there are two main things that we can do with files on the internet. One is to store them, and the other is to use some sort of applications or programs. Now, you probably have lots and lots of things stored on your computer at home. Files and pictures, maybe you even like to download movies and such, and they're all on your computer at home. Well, there is a way to store them someplace that's not on your computer. You could actually upload all those things and store them on a remote server. This would be a good idea, since if something ever happened to your computer, like it froze up or something, and you weren't able to access all of those files, having them saved someplace else as a backup is always a good idea. The other thing cloud computing can mean is that you do things on a website. You actually use programs on a remote website. Here's one of the most popular things to do on a remote website: Gmail. You probably get email already, whether you're using Gmail, Yahoo, Hotmail, or even AOL. All of these different mail servers are located on a remote computer, just like the other websites. And when you want to check your email, you generally go to a particular website, for example, AOL.com, or Gmail.com, or Yahoo.com. You get to that website. In this case, the Gmail servers are located also in California. And then they would ask you for your username and password. So once you get there, they put you in the right place, and you get to read your email. Even if your email is being saved onto your computer, so that you turn on your computer in the morning and all of your email is already there, your email actually exists here in the cloud or on a remote server also. So since your email is there, if you ever accidentally deleted something, it's all being saved. That's one function that people already use in the cloud. So don't worry that you didn't know what cloud computing was. You're probably already using it. Here are some other examples of things that you're probably using in the cloud already. We mentioned Facebook. Facebook is cloud computing because everything is being stored someplace else. This next one, Flickr, PhotoBucket, Picasa, these are different types of photo storage websites that people use. They upload photos, maybe from a baby shower, or maybe they just do this as a matter of course so that there's another place to store them. Most of these also will take your photos and put them into a nice book for you, or make mugs or t-shirts. YouTube. I'm sure you've heard of YouTube. It's the world's largest video site. Well, you can upload your videos to YouTube and leave them there. It's a nice storage for you, especially because videos take up so much space on your computer. Google Docs, we're going to talk about later, has all sorts of things like word processing, spreadsheets, things that are like Excel or Word, and you can use them right on your computer wherever you happen to be. One of my favorites, I happen to use a Google Calendar. And there are lots of different cloud calendars like a Google Calendar. Since the calendar is being stored away, you can access it from any place. That's one of the big advantages of cloud computing. It really doesn't matter then what computer you're on. If I'm at home or I go to a friend's house, I can log on to that website, like the Gmail website. I can log on, punch in my username and password, and get my email, or get any of these other things I wanted. If my computer breaks down, freezes, or falls out the window, it really makes no difference to me. I can go to somebody else's house, buy another computer. As long as I log on to that website, all of my email is intact. So, some of the benefits to cloud computing, for one thing, is that access. You can go to any computer anywhere. Most of these places also have apps for your cell phone. So for me, whether it's Gmail or a calendar or anything else, I can be at home or I can be on a bus with my cell phone and still access all of my files and documents right from there. So convenience is a big part of cloud computing. Cost is also a great part of cloud computing, and cost on two different fronts. One of the low costs of cloud computing is in actually buying all of the software. For example, if you got a new computer and you wanted to load up Microsoft Word, well, that costs several $100s. But if instead you were able to use a word processing program right there on some remote server, that would be free. Many of them are free, and even the ones that cost generally only charge you by the amount of time that you're using them, not like spending hundreds of dollars up front to get something. The other way it saves you on costs is because if all of your things are on a remote computer, your computer that you use at home doesn't have to be as advanced or have as much storage. Generally, when we shop for a computer, we look for something that's able to run a lot of programs and have a lot of storage. Well, if you're storing your things elsewhere, it really doesn't matter. Your computer is just a portal to get you to the cloud. So these are some of the things we're going to talk about with cloud computing, that it is cost effective, it makes all of your computers able to access everything at the same time, and it's a good backup, and it's something you're already using. So let's talk about some programs we could use with cloud computing.